And Mother's Day is kind of in some ways like a bit of a hallmark holiday. It can be anyways, a token wave to the mothers of the world. But it does provide us with an opportunity to stop and reflect with gratitude and hopefully take some time out to express our love and gratitude to our moms. So hopefully most of you or all of you will call your mothers tomorrow and say Happy Mother's Day, or maybe you've sent an e-card that says, something like to the world's greatest mother with like rainbows and dancing unicorns in the background. Did you do that, some of you? No, you haven't thought about it yet. And I'm sure all the moms receive all that with great gratitude. But, typically Mother's Day greetings are predictable and, can be less than super meaningful in themselves. So part of the theme of this chapel today is to maybe take that another step forward beyond the kind of predictable. But showing appreciation to anyone, to moms or anyone else, can be more than compulsory, more than just something to get out of the way. Showing appreciation can be a fine art in itself. And as I say, not just when it comes to mothers, but when it comes to, all of our friends and family, even to fathers. And this also happens to be the time of year when some of us have the final chance to express gratitude to someone who's really been important to you in your time at Shawnigan. Those who are in grade 12 or others who are moving on. Really, we have not that much time left to take advantage of those opportunities. So here's a little story about appreciation. A few years ago, Mrs. Rev and I were visiting a friend of ours south of the border, Diane, her name is. And Diane told us that her mother had just turned 88. And we knew that Diane and her mom didn't always get along very well. In fact, we'd heard lots of stories about their epic battles. But with this birthday, this landmark birthday, Diane decided to do something a little different. And every day for 88 days before her mom's 88th birthday, she sent a postcard to her mother with some specific appreciation written on the back of it. So when she started, she was worried that she couldn't find 88 things to say. She was worried that she couldn't find 8 things. But as it turned out, she didn't have any problem at all. And what do you think happened to Diane's relationship with her mother as a result of this? It got way better. Diane realized that she had a lot to be thankful to her mother for, and it did change the way she felt. And her mother couldn't stop reading these postcards. She read them over and over and over, and of course that changed the way that she related to Diane as well. It was a watershed in their relationship. And the point is, of course, that appreciation can be a very powerful thing. It can change relationships. It can change people's lives. So I wanted to talk just briefly about some of the art of appreciation, because sometimes appreciation it can be more than just saying thanks. So first and foremost, of course, is to be genuine. If we're not honest when we tell someone that we appreciate them, of course, they'll pick up on that lack of honesty, and everyone will end up feeling awkward and maybe even the feeling that it was worse to say something than nothing at all. So if you don't believe it, if you don't feel it, don't say it. But if you do think about it, you can always find something to be grateful about with people. Second, be specific. And this is really important, I think. Mrs. Rev always tells me this. Telling someone they're great is not nearly so meaningful as telling them that you appreciate how they're always patient or considerate or honest. It's always better to give an example and maybe even tell a little story when we give our appreciations. It's this being specific, I think, in the appreciations that really give it power and that really can change relationships. I think it's important to be generous with appreciations, and this is kind of personal territory because I think you can't overdo thanks and appreciation. And sometimes people tell me that I'm wrong about that. People tell me that if we're too lavish with our appreciations, that it can over time lose meaning. And you can have your own opinion about this, but I believe that we show our appreciation to one another far too seldom. So one more quick story. Years ago, I had my own business, and there was a woman who worked in the front office. She's become a very good friend since. And And she told me one day that every day that she worked for us, at the end of the day, I would always say to her, "Thank you for your hard work today," every day. I didn't remember this, actually. I couldn't imagine myself saying it, but she said, "I never missed a day." And then she said because of that, she always looked forward to coming into work the next day, because she knew she was coming to a place where she was appreciated. So I didn't really realize how important those expressions of gratitude were at the time, but now I realize, as I've thought about it, that there really isn't anything more satisfying than knowing that what we do and who we are is appreciated by someone. And I was thinking about this week, and I know that the way that my students at the end of every class, almost all of them say some form of thank you, and I realize that makes me want to come into work the next day as well. It's the same kind of thing. So tomorrow, all of us have a chance to stop and appreciate our mothers. If you have a living mother who you can call, you can consider yourself doubly blessed. And while you're at it, take the opportunity in these waning days of the year to tell someone who's made a difference in your time at Shawnigan that you appreciate them and why. Even if you're coming back next year, it's really a good practice. So even if you just find one person who has really supported you and kind of been an important person for you, just tell them that you appreciate them. When we appreciate someone, it's hard to be judgmental of that person at the same time. Appreciation is about enjoying and rejoicing in the gifts and accomplishments and good qualities of another person, rather than being envious of those very things. And this is really one of the ways that we build community. It's one of the ways that we invite one another into relationship. The French philosopher Voltaire says this. He says, "Appreciation is a wonderful thing. It makes what is excellent in others belong to us as well." So there you go. I'm going to invite Justin to come up and read now.
A reading from the book of Proverbs. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue.
Thank you, Justin. And I think Kaner has a short reading as well.
"Your suffering is my suffering, and your happiness is my happiness," said Buddha. And just as a mother always loves her child, he does not forget that spirit even for a single moment, for it is the nature of Buddhahood to be compassionate, the teachings of Buddha.
Thank you, Kaner. And Rowan is going to come up and introduce our special speaker this morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rowan, and I would like to welcome you to Lakes House Chapel service. I'd like to start by saying Happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mother figures out there. This chapel service is dedicated to you. On behalf of the boys in Lakes House, we thank you, each and every one. We thank each and every one of you for everything you've done for us over the years. We are truly grateful to have you in our lives, and without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ryan up to the stage. And Mom, I'll call you tomorrow.
Hey everyone. I hope you're having a good Saturday morning, and to the moms out there, that's particularly for you. To the audience out there, whether you've been at Shawnigan, this is your first year or this is your fifth year, we all know just how busy we can get here. And we can get lost, in our day-to-day activities and within our own minds. And we often forget to look outside the Shawnigan bubble. And that extends to our family. Sometimes we don't call our mom or our parents as much as we probably should or as much as we maybe want to. And tomorrow is that chance to, just remember that a little bit more and show that extra appreciation for our moms. As we evolve through Shawnigan, through our 5 years here, or whatever amount of time here, you see the people beside you growing up. You see your housemates and your friends all evolve and change. But someone who kind of misses out on that opportunity to see you evolve the same way as if you were closer to home is your mom. They sacrifice so much to send you here, for you to receive a better education and for that better experience. But, they miss their baby. They miss their little kid. They miss seeing you get to grow up. They miss, our parents may not be able to see our grads the same way this year, and that's hard for them. And I think as we acknowledge that it's hard for them and the sacrifice that they're willing to take to send us here for the opportunities, it just, heightens that appreciation for our moms and for our parents. And I think it's really important for us all to acknowledge that. Without moms, we wouldn't be here. Literally, figuratively, we wouldn't. And, all of our moms put in that extra effort every single day of our lives. And as Rev was just saying, it's important to be specific. So when you call your moms tomorrow, maybe tell a story of your childhood that meant particularly a lot to you. As maybe you couldn't sleep when you were younger and you went to your parents' room, and who greeted you? Probably your mom. And where you turned away, did she tell you, go back to bed, be quiet? I know I wasn't. I was always greeted with love from my mom and kindness, and I'll be forever grateful for that. I know, Mom, I know you're watching out there, and I'd like to say how much I love you and how much you mean to me, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And I know all the boys in this chapel and everyone else watching out there feels the exact same way. And as I conclude my short little speech here today, I'd just like to tell all the moms out there that we don't forget about you. We get busy here, but you're always in our hearts, and you're always in our minds. And I hope that as I can move forward today, I can be more conscious of that, and I can express my love and appreciation for you more frequently and, be specific, as Rev says. So I'll see you tomorrow. I love you very much. And yeah, that's all. I'd like to invite Jackie up for the prayers.
We take a moment to think about those in need in our families and in the world. Please respond to the bidding, Lord, in your mercy, with hear our prayer. We pray for our mothers and grandmothers, for the mothers in our own community of Shawnigan. Lord, in your mercy. We continue to pray for all those affected by the coronavirus throughout the world, and for strength to continue with whatever measures are necessary to end the pandemic. Lord, in your mercy. We pray for the poor and the homeless, for addicts, and for those suffering from illness. Lord, in your mercy. We give thanks for all the gifts in our lives, and for the ability to see everything as opportunity. Lord, in your mercy. We take a brief moment to consider any other needs in our hearts. Lord, in your mercy.
Thank you, Jackie. I just want to add a prayer for Bud Patel, Mr. Patel, who's the headmaster at Brentwood College. He's also an alum from Shawnigan, and he's ill right now. He'll be fine in the end. But just a prayer for him, and a prayer for all those who take the responsibility for leading us. This man next to me, for instance, who take a lot of pressure on themselves. They kind of take the responsibility for everything that happens in the end. So we want to remember all those this morning who really do take the role of taking the pressure for the big decisions. And I'll invite you to join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So we have a couple more things, but I'll, at this point, introduce Mr. Lamont to come up and say a few words to us.
Morning, Lakes, and morning, everyone tuning in. I have to say, in the last week, one of my favourite moments involved Lakes House, and that was, if we cast our minds back to the Pride float last Saturday. And I'd love to know which two students were in charge of the float. Rowan? Okay, Naslin. Well, it looked magnificent as it launched, and it was like, if you know the history of Tor Heyerdahl and the Kon-Tiki, heading off onto the oceans and exploring, and as it wonderfully capsized, and you both spent most of the time in Lake Omar. But also just how Lakes stepped up, stepped forward, but also a couple of the members of your staff team, Mr. Sturrock and Ms. Solsberg, commentating through it. Rev and I, listening to the themes today about gratitude, appreciation, Mother's Day, expressing that appreciation to our mothers. You know, we talk a lot about pride here at Shawnigan, and how Rev and I define it is very much taking pride in each other's unique, remarkable natures, that all of us are completely unique as individuals. And I think one of the things I absolutely love about Shawnigan is that respect and celebration of our difference. And there are just so many examples during every single week where I feel that sense of pride that you all respect and celebrate all each other's differences. It has been Mental Health Week, and I know your motto. What is your motto, Christian? Thank you. Non sibi sed alice, not for ourselves, but for others. And I really feel that's a very fitting motto for Lakes, and during Mental Health Week, and for the next 3 weeks, of just how it's just not about ourselves, but also how we're going to support those around us as we head towards the end of term. There's been a huge amount of leadership in your house that I want to flag up. Rowan, as head of house, I admire you hugely, and I think one of the moments that I felt most proud in the last 10 days was when I was at Dean's dinner. And if you know, Mrs. Milne always asks, who's attending Dean's dinner for the first time? How many years have you been here, Rowan? 4 years. And the first hand up, literally exploding out of his suit, was Rowan. And I just was so proud that you had achieved that in the final furlong of your time here, Rowan. And I think that just shows about your ambition, your leadership, but also how you've led your own house and supported your house. The grade 12s, same. I look around the place and I see people I've either taught or interacted with, and know that you would have taken good care of the other grades. You've got wonderful house staff, but I particularly want to thank Mr. Plater. This has been an impossible year. The Rev just was talking about prayers for those of us in positions of responsibility. Well, Mr. Plater and all the house directors have had to step up in a way none of them have experienced before during the pandemic, about how to take good care of you and keep your spirits high. And I just want to say, Wes, what a magnificent job you've done this year in leading Lakes, and I know the boys and the other staff feel that as well. So I'd love to hear a round of applause for Mr. Plater, guys. And it always feels good to express gratitude as well. It makes our own hearts sing when we do that. So don't forget Mother's Day. Note to myself as well. And looking forward to seeing what you've concocted on this screen before. Maybe it's Christian and Henrik all over again on the front of a boat in Titanic pose. I'm really hoping. That is the happiest moment of my year, watching that video, but I think you know that.
Thank you, Headmaster, and thank you all. Thank you, Lakes. You've really, we're a good team, eh? You did a great job this morning, and as I've said, what's perfect for me is when you guys just make these chapel services your own. So thank you so much. We do have a special tribute to mothers, a musical tribute with some photographs that Muriel has put together with Max, and so those of you in your common rooms will watch it. Have I got that right? We'll watch it on a recording, and we'll watch it here on the screen. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mom. I love you so much.
Feliz Día de las Madres. Te amo, mamá. 妈，我想你了。母亲节快乐。
Love you, Mom. Thanks for everything.
Love you, Mother.
Okay, for me, my mom is actually kind of my everything during my childhood because my dad wasn't around me the entire time, so it was basically only her taking care of me, so I'm really grateful.
My mom is super supportive towards what I love.
我想你了，母亲节快乐。
Thank you, Mom, for always supporting me and accepting me for my crazy ideas.
Just want to thank you, Mom. If it weren't you, I wouldn't be here studying in Shining Lake School. It was you who suggested to me that I should go study abroad, see more things, and just broaden my mind. So thank you so much, Mom. 谢谢你，妈妈。
I would like to thank my mom for always being there for me. She's always been supportive of what I love, and I love her very much for that.
For me, my mom was someone to talk to. Whenever things went wrong, she was always there for me to pick me up and make me feel better.
My mom has always been supporting me and taking care of me ever since we immigrated to Canada when I was 9 years old. And now it's been 7 years we live in Canada. She has never stopped smiling, being happy, and making a good environment for me to live in. And I appreciate for everything she does. And 谢谢老妈一直以来对我的照顾。
I love you, Mom.
My mom has always been an amazing role model for me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mom, for being a sweetheart.
Thank you, Mom, for making so many sacrifices for me and being the most caring person in my life.
Thank you, Mom, for always being so caring and loving.
Happy Mother's Day. Love you, Mom.
Thank you, Mom, for always being a positive role model and having such a positive influence on my life.
Thank you, Mom, for always providing me with unconditional love, even when I've messed up.
My mom has always been very supportive of me and my stepmom as well, and I'm eternally grateful for both of them. I love you, Mom.
Thank you. So I'll just tell you what the headmaster said to me at the end. He said, brilliant. And I agree. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Beautiful. I'll invite the God Squad to come up, and we'll process out. And thank you again.